Hi, long time no see. So, I am going to be talking to you today about two different aspects of a similar thing. So, as I mentioned, I had something prepared for Valentine's Day, but I wasn't feeling well, and then school got a hold of me, so it is now let's call it mid March, so obviously around a month late. But I'm going to tie it into a bit about sex and sexuality, but the main focus is on a radio advertisement I heard in my car for Valentine's Day, and it's interesting the way that these things are designed, but it functions on several levels. So there's the level of the heteronormative. So this Valentine's Day advertisement was of a man talking to a male coworker about his wife who was at home and all the things that she was doing for him that day because it was Valentine's Day. And so she made him a steak dinner. She had his favorite beer on the table. She wore that thing that he liked to bed. And yeah, a couple little nitty-gritty pieces of information after that. But this was on the radio, and it was an advertisement for a jewelry company. And the way that it functioned was that this wife was performing these tasks for her spouse in order to earn the gift of this jewelry, which obviously is problematic. Anyway, and so it brought me to another thought, which was the general heteronormativity of Valentine's Day. And so I looked in and I did a bit of research trying to just look at the top ads among companies, a majority of the advertisements amongst companies for Valentine's Day of 2018. And I did not find a single example of an advertisement that was done that utilized a same-sex couple or same gender couple or any differing genders that are not, the cisgender norm that society caters to. And so a majority of these cases were examples of highlighting aspects of the female partner owing the male partner in order to earn something, right? So it's essentially like the woman has to suck up in order to earn the reward this day. So whether it be flowers or chocolate or jewelry or, an engagement, however it functions, it still becomes some sort of a task that needs to be performed by the woman to get recognized by the man. And so there's just so much there, but let's take it one step at a time. And so, I kind of have some numbered points that I was going to go through a little bit. And so the first one is that there's a total inundation of non-consensual sexual encounters on Valentine's Day because privileged people believe that that is the day that sex is owed to them due to advertisements such as this, where, maybe you have a friend that's of the opposing gender, or not the opposing gender, but of a different gender than you, that you think that they would owe you something on this day because you're both single. Maybe you've bought them dinner as a friend a couple times, and so, this is the day you're going to, do that, which is awful. There's pressure on all couples, but the main advertisements are directed towards heteronormative couples to do things that are outside of your budget on these days. And so essentially it's like telling you that if you're a man, you need to throw a bag of money at your woman in order to be a good man. And why are there no non-hetero advertisements? Obviously we have a population of human beings that don't follow gender normative. There's not everyone in the world is cisgender, not everyone in the world is heterosexual. So why is it that out of the 6 countries that I found models for their advertisements, that I found the advertisements for the year, that not a single one of them caters to anything other than that? And I mean, I'm not even going to go into the fact about what the color of those people were or the ratios on that, because that's a whole different conversation that I just don't want to get into right now. But yeah, so how is that Like, you're really, as a company, you're ostracizing yourself from that market, which is obviously a large market. And obviously, like, I talked to several non-conforming, non-gender conforming heteronormative couples onto like what their plans were for Valentine's Day, and several of them are going out for nice dinners. They have gifts lined up for their partners, and they have like really awesome, more romantic than my plans were, and it's wonderful. And it's just that they're being like excluded because they're just not, the norm. But, and I mean, like, there's also the aspect of suicide rates around Valentine's Day. This is a side note. It's not related to sex and sexuality, but it kind of is in, like, the physical need that most people would have psychologically in terms of, like, interaction with other human beings. And the way that this day is one that denotes that you are single, you are the problem. If you cannot find someone to copulate with this evening, that is problematic in your representation of self and your identity as a human being, and that you aren't doing good enough if you're not doing what you are trying to do, which is absurd. But it's important to note that, like, it's just, like, how hard is it to, I mean, this day is all about the love of a heteronormative relationship. So there's no reference point that goes back to the love of friends. So, like, I love all of my friends. They are wonderful, wonderful human beings. And I use the word love openly with them because I believe that that is how it functions. Now, people often give me, like, the awkward, like, oh, you must be a lesbian if you love your girlfriends. And it's like, bro, like, it's important to, like, be able to openly describe your feelings in a way that isn't, boxing yourself in, adhering to the societal norms of what that means. Because I think it's super important that my friends know that I love them and that I respect them as other human beings. Because if I didn't, then obviously we wouldn't be friends because, there's foundations in love, like trust, respect, things like that. But it's just, like, insane the way that everything is just boxed into the same categories, and the way that it always, in these kind of, like, annual tirades, it has to be man, woman, love each other, do the thing, because we're back in, like, the time when women didn't work. The man has to throw all the money at the woman because that's just how a society is built. But it's just so frustrating trying to, like, analyze that in terms of, like, how people function and how people that might not be in the in-group are reacting to that. Because in this case, like, there are a lot of non-white, non-heteronormative couples in this world, or people that don't want a relationship and aren't interested in a relationship, but are being told by the media that they're wrong, or that there's something wrong with them because they can't find, or they don't want to find, that significant other. Anyway, frustrating. So that's it for me today. It was a pleasure chatting with you again, and I will do my best to get a video for next week talking more about why media sucks. I love you all. Have a wonderful day.